Ava. Well, I don't know when this is coming out. This is either coming out on Friday or Monday. But happy day, whatever day it is. I hope you had a wonderful day. This is a very personal vlog to me. This is about my experience with uterine fibroids. So I'm gonna try to make this concise and try to give information and try to put it all in here. I feel like God laid it on my heart when I was talking to him a few nights ago, because I have been working on a book for like 5 years and some change, and for various reasons, just getting distracted and doing a lot of things, I haven't finished it, and I'm almost done with it. And it's like, you know, at the very end, I got kind of hit a writer's wall. But I know it's very important because so many women, especially African American women, struggle with uterine fibroids. And so many of those women are told that they need to have hysterectomies, and that just isn't so. I think that the medical community who is suggesting those things, doing it haphazardly. I'll start with the fact that I was in my early 20s, probably about 22. I had not been married very long at that time, now divorced. And I would just start to my body just started to feel physically different. And I didn't know, what it was, if that was normal, because I was partaking in marital acts, that I had not ever partaked of before. It wasn't me, like it was all very, very confusing. But one day it got to the point where I was like, okay, this is just abnormal. It's abnormal, the feeling, the heaviness, the feeling in my stomach, the bloated feeling, and just the pain, and all of it is just totally uncomfortable. And I felt a little bump on the bottom of my stomach. And I was like, okay, something's got to give, because it feels weird. Like, it just feels weird. And so I was misdiagnosed quite a few times. And actually, I'll go back further than that. Before I got married, I remember I was so sick, and I was going to a doctor, a male doctor. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I was going to a doctor, and he thought, and I was going very often, like every week or every other week or something like that, and he told me it was the stress of the wedding, calm down. He did, however, say that I was losing such large volumes of blood that he had no idea where it could possibly be going. That did not trigger him to want to test further and do other things. Horrible doctor. Horrible. And he told me I was obviously very iron deficient, I was anemic, and to eat beef and broccoli. Yeah, so I decided, I just was very sick, and I knew something wasn't quite right. And I'm like, stress don't feel like this. Like, I know I ain't never been married, been married before, never planned a wedding before, but it ain't supposed to feel like this. Like, literally, I remember during my dress fitting, my mother had to hold me up. My mother and the designer of my dress had to hold me up because I was so weak and so sick. So I knew something was definitely wrong. And I did get better. I did get a little better. I think I started taking iron, and I did start feeling a little better. Some of my energy came back. However, fast forward to some time after the marriage, some months into it, I just started feeling funny and started feeling like a growth or something was in my stomach, and just was feeling very strange. I went to the second doctor, who said I had a hernia. Wrong. I went to finally a third doctor whose bedside manner, he was a very nice man, but just very blunt. And I remember sitting or lying down and having, a full female examination done, and he just kind of blurts out, "Oh my God, you have a humongous tumor inside of you. Now we have to test and make sure it's not cancerous." Okay. So, at least I knew now what it was, and he explained that it probably wasn't cancer, that it probably was fibroid tumors, but they had to test anyway and do all this other stuff. So they did. It was fibroids. I at that time was more afraid of surgery than the fibroids. So I tried everything that I knew how to do. And I mean, I tried for years. I did so much research, read books, did internet research. I did light therapy. Goodness, acupuncture. And acupuncture really helps. It really helps a myriad of different things. So I love acupuncture and the sleep you get while on that table. Amen for that sleep, if anybody knows about that. But yeah, I did so many things. I took herbs. I took Chinese herbs. I took these herbs, that herbs. I was drinking some type of holy water from one of the tranquility therapists. And, you know, I mean, I was taking really gross medicines. Like, I don't even know what they are, and I can still taste it to this day, and it's been so many years. I was taking really gross medicine. I was doing clay masks on my stomach. I was rubbing my stomach down every night with castor oil. I mean, and wrapping it up in clay with cheesecloth. And I mean, I was doing it all because I didn't want to have surgery. So fast forward about 5 years later, I was on Vicodin pretty much every day. I was in extreme, excruciating pain. It felt like someone was cutting me open without any anesthesia from the inside out. I would get attacks, and it just would be literally excruciating pain that would just bring me to my knees, that come out of nowhere. So it forced me, you know, God knows how to move you, you know, if you're not moving fast enough. And it forced me to have to really start thinking along the lines of, I may need to have surgery because, you know, it wasn't working. And I didn't want to have, it's embolization, and they find the vein that is feeding the tumor blood, and they take these medical granules, and they put them in the vein and stop the blood flow, hoping that the stop of the blood flow will stop feeding the fibroid and the fibroid will shrink. Okay, well, I didn't want to do that because it's not, embolization is not, from what I know, widely proven to not cause sterility. So I don't have any children to this day, not for those reasons, but because I'm waiting on the Lord. But, so I didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize motherhood. Goodness, what else? I tried changing my diet. That was the most difficult thing. Two of the most difficult things. And my mouth is watering right now thinking about steak and a big cup of ice. Anyway, they wanted me to change my diet because they don't want you to eat red meats and different things, and I'm a carnivore. All I want is meat. I need protein. And so that was very difficult for me. I think one of the doctors I saw didn't want me to eat ice. See, what happens when you are anemic, a lot of the times that you have certain proclivities towards certain strange things. For me at that time, when I was going through the throes of this, and I'm a foodie, and I'm a sweet tooth foodie, okay? A sweet tooth having foodie. So you give me a honey bun and a cup of black coffee, I'm a happy girl. Some ice cream, some cookies. I love sugar. So, you know, they wanted me to cut back on that, of course, but anything, like nothing compared, cute prince, nothing compared to the biggest cup of ice I could find. Like, my mouth is real water just thinking about it. And I still love ice, and I'm not even anemic anymore, but like literally I had ice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that was one of the hardest struggles, because I was like, they wanted me to stop because they, one of the doctors thought that ice was contributing to contributes to mucus, and mucus in the body, they said, turned into tumors. And so because cold things contributed to that, then I should stop eating ice. When I tell you, okay? And I say this to say, don't beat yourself up about certain changes are going to be harder than others. Changing your diet, not eating meat, not eating sugar. They try to take my ice away. Boo! They try to take my ice away. was in that refrigerator like I was on the stuff, okay? In the middle of the night, in the dark. Me, one woman, one refrigerator light, sneaking ice cubes of all things. So when I finally found Dr. Hewland, the homeopath doctor, she said, oh child, eat the ice, because your body is craving that, and you know, you're probably so warm and, you know, so hot on the inside that your body is needing that. So don't deprive yourself of the ice. I wanted to cry. Like, I was so happy. I remember I did it. So at one point, in true Ava fashion, I broke down and cried because I really wanted a meatloaf sandwich from this restaurant. I don't know what it's called. It's a restaurant in Encino, California. It's right across from, like on the same side as the street as Rodeo Realty. Lord have mercy, that meatloaf sandwich though. I cried because I couldn't have it because I wasn't supposed to be eating meat at the time. So it was rough for me. So just don't beat yourself up about maybe, you know, maybe you have an ice cream cone, maybe not every day, maybe not every week, maybe you do it once a month or twice a month or something. Maybe you have to do it once a week as a treat. Just don't beat yourself up. The last thing you want to do is make yourself feel bad if you aren't able, you know, if the changes that need to be made don't come easily. Don't beat yourself up about it. Have a piece of cake, lady, have it, and lick the icing off of your fingers, okay? It's just one day. Have that honey bun, okay? Put it in the microwave. Put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it and call it a day, because it's just one day. Just don't do it all the time, people. Be responsible. Yeah, don't apologize for being an emotional mess either. Just go on and cry and go through what you got to go through. Because, you know, pain is pain, discomfort is discomfort, being sick is depressing and it doesn't feel good. So don't beat yourself up about maybe being a little irritated, okay? You're already feeling some type of way and then they don't want you to eat sugar or meat or ice in my case, you know? You just don't just go around being just unabashedly mean, but, you know, don't beat yourself up about it, people. You're going through something, don't downplay it. Your body's going through changes and it's fighting hard to try to make you better. So just don't do yourself a disservice by beating yourself up. I know as women, sometimes we can be our own worst enemy and our own worst critic. We can be so terribly, devastatingly hard on ourselves. That's something I know I'm trying to get better at. You're in a fight for your health. That is not the time to beat yourself up even the more. Just relax. Know that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and you'll make it through. I made it. I made it with my life and my womb, and you can too. So I tried them sending me into temporary menopause. I had to take Lupron shots for 3 months because they hoped that that would shrink the fibroids. That was very bad, very bad. Menopause is nothing to play with. I praise the Lord and I declare and decree I will never go through it again in Jesus' name. It's bad. The hot flashes, the mood swings. 1 minute you're happy, the next minute you're in tears over your biscuit because it doesn't have enough butter on it. It's horrible. Your bones hurt. You don't want to have sex. You don't want to do anything but eat. And it's just, it was bad. It was bad. Night sweats, waking up, I had to keep a pair of extra pajamas next to me because I would sweat, you know, because of the hot flashes. I would just be drenched at night and have to change my pajamas in the middle of the night. It was just a whole bad thing. It was bad, people, okay? So it seemed to have shrunk the tumor a little, but not a lot. And the moment I stopped taking the Lupron shots, it grew probably fuller than it was before because I just got worse. So by this time, after trying Lupron and I hadn't been through menopause, and thank God everything is back working well and no more hot flashes, no more all that stuff. And that stops as soon as you stop taking the hormones. After all of that, I was in so much pain, like I said. It forced me. I was in so much pain. I mean, I literally felt like somebody was trying to cut me open from the inside out. So I said, you know, screw it. Cut me then. Cut me for real, because get this thing out of me. But for whatever reason, that's also a lesson. Listen to your spirit. Your spirit knows things that your conscious mind does not. Listen to your gut, always. I don't care if it doesn't make sense, if you just met a person and something just doesn't feel right, if you're about to go on a job, something doesn't feel right, you're about to make a left, something doesn't feel right. Listen, never ignore your gut. And it just didn't feel right to go to my, at that time, doctor, a female doctor. It just something didn't feel right to have her operate on me. And so, like I said, I fasted, I prayed, and I said, well, let me figure something out, because it's like something in my heart, something in my gut is telling me that God has another way for me. And it just so happened that a friend of a friend had just had surgery. And she got the surgery that I really wanted, which was the robotic surgery that is laparoscopic and, you know, minimally invasive and all that. And she just raved about a doctor, and I happened to make a comment about how, because everybody thought I was pregnant, and that's another freaking thing, people, be sensitive. Everybody that got a belly ain't carrying a child, okay? They could be carrying a Subway sandwich, a hamburger, too many French fries, something, a milkshake, a fibroid tumor, but not a child. So everyone would come up to me, you know, I guess because I'm, you know, I don't know. They came up to me and touched my belly, and they were like, congratulations, screw you. Ain't nobody said I was pregnant. You didn't get the invite to my baby shower, so shut up. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Point being, everybody thought I was pregnant, and we were trying on clothes, and I made a comment about how I would be so glad when this whole ordeal with the fibroid is over and I won't look pregnant anymore, and I can look, you know, good in my clothes like a normal non-pregnant woman. And that doctor, remember, she said, oh my goodness, my friend just had a surgery and she loved her doctor and she raved about him. I think she had what you have. Let me connect you guys. Let me give you her number. And I called, shout out to Crystal. I called her and she punked me. Like, I didn't even know her. But she totally punked me because I had an appointment with another doctor. And she said, oh no, cancel your appointment right now. You're going to my doctor. That's it. That's all. You have to see Dr. Edward DOURRON, who is now in Atlanta or now somewhere in Georgia, but he was in Newport Beach at Howell Hospital at that time. You have to see him. He's a specialist in fertility, and he's all about saving the woman's womb. And I said, all right, I will, you know, she really punked me into it, like lovingly. And so I appreciate her for that. And so I went. Thank God I went. Another lesson in peace. Always follow your peace. If you are ever in a bind and you're wondering which way to go, do I do this? Do I do that? This person, that person. Stop. Ask yourself, after you've stepped back for a moment, where is your peace? Where does your peace lie? Does it lie with decision A or decision B? And wherever your peace is, and I'm talking about non-selfish, ulterior motive having peace just because you want something, but where your true core peace is, follow that. I laid eyes on this man in the hallway and felt a rush of so much peace that the man could operate it on me on his office desk, and I would have let him, because I just knew immediately. I said, he's the one. He's the one God has for me to do my surgery. And thank God I did. I had my doctor's appointment, and when he examined me, he realized that I was so far gone in terms of the tumor had gotten so large that I could not have the minimally invasive laparoscopic robotic surgery anymore. And even hearing that news, because this is another thing, I was very leery of having surgery because I knew that, generally speaking, when you have a full-out myomectomy, and that's the full-on fibroid removal surgery, when you have children, when you get pregnant, and they want you to have a C-section instead of going through a regular vaginal birth. Which in my older age, I've come to, trust me, honey, I've come not to be mad at that situation anymore at all. Praise the Lord. I don't need that in my life. I'm all woman. I don't need to prove anything. Cut the baby out. Okay. So at that time in my 20s, that was a big turnoff because I thought, what if I'm going to vaginal birth? What a fool, right? I don't know. I don't want to say what a fool because just vaginal birth ain't for everybody, and I don't think it's for me. I don't think, I just don't think it was for me. So, but that was one of the hold-offs for me not wanting to have surgery. So it was disappointing a little to hear that I couldn't have the robotic surgery, but I, like I said, had so much peace with Dr. DOURRON that he could have performed it that day and I would have been fine. I would have trusted him all the way. And so fast forward to my surgery day, he got me open and stopped the surgery. And it was almost 4 hours of surgery, a very extensive surgery. Literally, I was like Humpty Dumpty and he had to put me back together again. I had endometriosis, I had cysts on my ovaries, I was a mess. And this humongous fibroid tumor. And when I tell you it was humongous, he stopped the surgery to get a camera. That's how big it was. And he said it was the second largest tumor he had seen in his 25-year history as a doctor. I will always spare you guys the photos, but my God, today. I don't even know, like a watermelon, like a very hefty watermelon-esque size, like totally like this watermelon's gonna feed the family type of watermelon size. That's how big it was. And no one knew, just examining, I did MRIs and ultrasounds and all, vaginal ultrasounds and all of that, and still no one could detect the magnitude and size of the tumor without having cut me open. And he said if I hadn't cut you open, I wouldn't have even, there was no way for us to know that it was this bad, because I wasn't, though I looked about 5 months pregnant, a very cute 5 months pregnant, but I looked about 5 months pregnant just walking around everyday life. It's because of the way I carried the tumor. Most of it was pressing on my organs. So I was carrying most of it, on the inside, instead of the tumor protruding all of itself to the outside. So it was on my organs. He said that if I hadn't come in when I did, I would have started going into kidney failure. And there was another doctor before that. It was a Chinese herbal doctor who had done tests on me probably maybe a year before that, who told me that my organs were, if they're supposed to be working up here, like my organs were working like way like down here. So I had heard it before, and camera shut off. To see the pictures after surgery was a wow. He told me something that will always stay with me for the rest of my life. I don't want to get emotional. Why am I starting to get emotional, Ava? Anyway, he said, I'm so glad you went to me. I'm so glad you came to me as a doctor, because if you had gone to anybody else, they would have cut you open and seen what I saw, and what I deem to be a hobby, something that I enjoy. Like some people golf, I do surgeries and I save women's uteruses for a living, and I put women back together again, their insides, for a living. Anybody else who would have seen what I saw would have given you a hysterectomy and cleaned you all out. And like I said before, when I went back to the original female doctor that I had and showed her the results, she confirmed it and said if I had seen it, I definitely would have, not hesitated. I wouldn't have even, stopped the surgery. I just would have given you a hysterectomy on the spot. And that is just like, wow. That's what's being done to women all over the place. They're being told that they have to have hysterectomies. They're not even being told that they have to have hysterectomies a lot of the time. They're just going into surgery and finding out once they wake up from the anesthesia that they don't have a womb anymore. And that is like, it's become an epidemic, like almost a genocide of, women's wombs just being snatched out of them. And Black women, are the majority in this. So it's just very sad to me, and I just want to let everybody know, if you're struggling with uterine fibroids, if you've been told that you have to have a hysterectomy, get a second opinion. Go to a fertility specialist. Go to a specialist in that field. Don't take their word for it, because, you know, I don't know everybody's situation, but my situation was dire. I almost died. He said I was basically walking around dying, about to go into kidney failure when I went into surgery. And if I can make it out with my uterus intact and my ability to have children, and I had the second largest fibroid in his 25 years as a physician, then you can make it without having a hysterectomy as well. So just women, black women, all women, fight for your womb. Fight for your babies. I wanted to be a mom all my life, more than I ever wanted to be a wife and anything else. So the thoughts, I can't even imagine, especially at a young age. I'm still in my good childbearing tender years, not being told in my 20s that I couldn't have children. I mean, I just can't imagine that. And gosh, yeah. And even if you go into surgery, I mean, because I was just like, well, maybe I would have had some, you know, the female doctor sign something that said, you know, if you cut me open and it's too far gone, close me up and tell me, don't take my womb without discussing it with me. But just the thought, like she said, I would have taken it. I would have cleaned it out. No hesitation, no thought about it. What? That's just very sad to me. So I want to highlight a few things also for women who are suffering with uterine fibroids. I did do Chinese medicine, like I said, I did acupuncture and I did Chinese herbs. And I will link all this information below. I went to a great Chinese medicine doctor and a Christian doctor. He's a naturopath. And he's in Orange County, and I'll link all of his information below. He and his wife have a practice, and honestly, it really helped the symptoms subside. Part of my issue was the fact that I was bleeding so profusely every month and for very long periods of time that it became hard to live like normal life and like go out and stuff like that. Like if you're normal, you have a normal period, you can throw on a pad, tampon, whatever you choose, leave the house, go about your natural life. It got to the point where I literally had to start, it was like Thanksgiving night. I had to make the decision like, the regular way is not gonna work. I literally was bleeding so much, I had to go get Depends. And I had to start wearing those. And tip for anybody with an extremely abnormally heavy flow, Depends, they work for your menstrual cycle. If you're having issues, and if you're having, especially, you know, fibroid issues or any type of female reproductive issues that's causing profuse bleeding, get some Depends, because they work and they will give you back some of your normal activities because you feel safe, because they, you know, they'll protect you from embarrassment, we'll put it that way. But because I was losing so much blood, I just felt like death walking all the time. I mean, all the freaking time. So the Chinese herbs really helped to make me feel physically better, but they didn't, for me, they didn't make the bleeding subside to a point where I was feeling more comfortable. And also Chinese herbs, they're not greatly expensive. I think, I don't know, expense is relative, so, you know, but check it out. But I also found a homeopathic doctor. She's like the homeopath to the stars, Dr. Hewland, whom I absolutely adore. Shout out to Dr. Hewland, and I will link her information below as well in the description box. She was a lifesaver when it came down to being able to prescribe homeopathic remedies that could be found, because I was having to drive all the way. I was living in the Inland Empire at that time, so I was having to drive from the Inland Empire to the OC, which was like an hour and change away, every like week, every few days, to pick up the Chinese herbs. So all of it was getting costly. The gas, the herbs, it all was like Lord, this is a lot. So Dr. Hewland prescribed homeopathic remedies that I could get at any like Whole Foods or Sprouts, you know, a health food store like that. And the remedies were only, I think they're $7. I think, maybe they're 10 or something like that, 10 max. Hopefully that was quick. Okay. Okay, yeah, they come in a little vial like this. And like I said, you can get them in any Whole Foods, any Sprouts, any health food store like that. Make sure they're prescribed to you first. Go to a homeopath, have them check you out, and they'll talk to you and let you know what you need based on your symptoms. But they're little bitty balls. I'm sure you can't see them. And you just take the recommended dose, excuse me, and you put them under your tongue, and you can't talk and while they're dissolving. And for somebody like me, I'll just do, you know, homemade sign language for 15 minutes while they dissolve, or however long it takes. But like I said, I'll link Dr. Hewlin's information below. She was a lifesaver to me, because when I started taking the homeopathic meds, the bleeding subsided. Oh my God. I had like a just about, you know, almost, I'm sure someone's normal period, you know, but it wasn't, I didn't have to wear Depends anymore. I could go back to feeling like a normal lady. And it also helped me not feel like death warmed over, and it was at a great, you know, at great cost effectiveness. And it was very convenient. So she was awesome at really dealing not with just with me physically, but with me emotionally. And I just was a ball of stress. And she is the most gentle, caring, compassionate, amazing doctor. And so, like I said, she's a brilliant homeopath to the stars. So, you know, I won't say she's expensive, but I believe my first appointment with her was, and I don't want to say, but in the hundreds of dollars, a few hundreds, greater than 3, a little greater than 4. But I'm gonna leave all her information. It's more, I mean, God, when I tell you, I wouldn't care if the lady charged $1,000 per session, or, you know, whatever. Like, it's more than worth it. And they're not necessarily ongoing sessions. She sees you for the first time, she diagnoses you, prescribes you the homeopathic remedy, you go get them, like I said, Whole Foods, Sprouts, wherever, DOURRON, homeopathic medications are sold, and you go on with your life, and you have a follow-up appointment that is not at the same cost by any means as the initial consultation. So that really helped to save my life as well, because I could, you know, I could be me again, you know. Again, I'm going to leave all the information in the description box to all of the doctors, the Chinese medicine doctor, the homeopath, Dr. Hewlin, Dr. DOURRON, who performed my surgery. Like I said, I believe he was in the OC at Hoag, in Newport Beach at Hoag Hospital. Amazing hospital. Love you, Hoag Hospital. I'm spoiled because I don't, you know, I'm like, I don't want anybody else to touch me. I want to go to any other hospital because they're amazing at Hoag Hospital. So shout out to Hoag. But I believe Dr. DOURRON now is in Georgia, and I will get his most recent information and link it below. I hope that this has helped somebody. There are a lot of people, like I know almost all the Real Housewives of Atlanta cast, Candy and Cynthia and Portia, and have struggled in the past with fibroids. And it's just, you know, there are a lot of women out there, and like I said, it's predominantly Black women that are struggling with uterine fibroids, and it's a terrible thing. Don't let them take your womb. Don't do it. Also, please do not forget to like and subscribe if this is helping. If you found any of this information useful, please do not hesitate to give this video a thumbs up. Yes. And subscribe, because there are going to be many more health goodies, health vlogs, and videos I'm doing, and many different things. I have a plethora of things for you. No, I have many treats up my sleeve for you. So please subscribe. Do it. Do it now. Push it real good. Anyway. So I hope that all this information will help somebody. God bless you. I'm praying for my lifers, my Life with Ava vlog family. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in the vlogs. All right, God bless. Yes, this is the same thing I had on in the last vlog, okay? Yeah, it is. So what, okay? Because I said, and I did them back to back, okay, people? I'm trying to be productive, a productive vlogging citizen here, a productive YouTube citizen. Don't judge. Oh, also, I talk a lot about it in the Draw My Life video, and that should be up here or up here, roundabout now. If you click the, and if you ever see a YouTube video, mine or someone else's, and you see the little, it should be like a little gray circle with an exclamation mark or something in it, or an eye, one or the other. It may be a little dot with an eye in it. Click it, because it has goodies for you, whether it's a poll or where to buy something, where to find something, all of this other stuff. It's a vlog, links, whatever. So somewhere it should be here. But I talk about it in Draw My Life. I'll link the video. And let's see what else. Stock up on Depends if you have to. Don't be embarrassed. They're not that noisy. No one will know. They're a game changer, baby. They're a game changer. That's if you have an abnormally heavy flow. What else? God, jog my memory. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, it's been like 6 years this month that I had my surgery, and I'm doing great. I hope this helps.
Oh, you gotta catch a falling star and find out what it means. See ya. Don't give up, don't give up. Hear the voice resound. Hey, still, wrap your arms around the future, baby. Fly on angels' wings, yeah. Keep going, baby. Hey, catch a falling star.